Hello, this is Gavin Palmer with Hero Looking for Group, coming to you from the Porcelain Throne Room. All right, so I have this tab up just as a reminder of the Paths Forward idea. I learned about the phrase Paths Forward from Elliot Temple, and it's about creating opportunities for other people to teach you. That's what this is all about. My wife shared this link with me, and I decided to take notes and highlight this video where Chris Beat Cancer is the YouTube channel, and he interviews Patrick Quillin, a nutrition expert. So, and perhaps more than that as well, I'm sure. So, as usual, let's start at the end. So the conclusions are, for me, is the number of sick people in America is significant and our means of response is a failure. So you can look at the number of people suffering from heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and then Chris Beat Cancer focuses on cancer. But in America, if you have 330 million people and you end up with 30 million people who have diabetes and 60 million who are at risk of diabetes because of obesity, I'm sure those people would be at risk of heart disease. And if you have 12 to 14 million people who are dying from cancer, that's quite a large number of people. I would also include other kinds of disease and sick people, including the people who have sicknesses related to their well-being in general. Because I was stressed out and my wife found magnesium deficiency. Might have been the reason. I started taking magnesium, and I am definitely a healthier person now. So ignorance exists at every level. So the ignorance can exist within the institutions that are educating the experts. So for example, the oncologists, there may be 20,000 board certified oncologists, and keyword, they're board certified. And they are ignorant of nutrition for the most part, is what the claim. That's the claim, and I wouldn't doubt it, because there is this tendency for people to specialize, which can be very dangerous because you have a silo, and what you need is cross-functional teams. So the incentive structure does not help. So you have industries that are providing sugar and junk food. You have industries that are providing weight loss programs, and you have industries that are providing drugs. It's a large amount of people who have an interest in people, and then in the all of the people being sick, they have a financial interest in people being sick. And one of the things that Quillin recognized is that the drugs, they palliate symptoms and ignore the underlying causes of the disease. So I think that's an important point. It might be one of the most important points. People are not trying to practice and learn self-control. That's my last little sentence there, and I think it is related. Practicing and learning self-control is the art of stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing it regularly. And people are they like comfort. They like immediate gratification, and so you have to practice stepping outside of your comfort zone. And I'll mention Wim Hof. So Quillin talks about epigenetics. There is a scientific definition of epigenetics which is slightly related to the way I think about epigenetics. And the way I think about epigenetics is related to Wim Hof, who can use his mind, which causes a chain of events which can ultimately result in him being able to receive toxins in his body and have and then show none of the symptoms that most other people would show. So there's something about mindset and lifestyle that is important, and that's related to epigenetics. So at the end, Patrick Quillin, he says, "It's teamwork, Chris. I think people need to know we can explain it now. So there's a lot of science about nutrition, but in general, I'm trying to make this more abstract. Being able to explain things is very important, and being a person who wants to understand the explanation is very important. That's you stepping outside of your comfort zone, and that's you sacrificing your immediate gratification in order to do that work, in order to understand the explanation. So an explanation is, I would say the goal is to develop an explanation of problems and solutions. Like, this is stepping back a level in general. It's not just diet and lifestyle related to cancer. It's also diet and lifestyle related to all of these diseases that are very expensive and ruin people's lives and end people's lives. And it's also related to the mind. There are diseases in the mind that are related to the diet. The diet being the everything we consume through our eyes and our ears. That diet is related to the disease in our minds. And so we need to be concerned. We need to be able to explain the problems and the solutions. And we need to do that as a team. And we need cross-functional teams. I think Quillin has said nutritionists and doctors need to collaborate. He used a different word, but they need to have, he used the word partnerships. And so teamwork, that's grassroots teamwork, is a necessary component to the solution. So Quillin also talks about grassroots. He and Chris are doing grassroots efforts. They are saving people's lives, and then those people are spreading the message. They're spreading the good news. So grassroots teamwork is a necessary component to the solution, and that is a necessary component to the solution on an abstract level, because the authorities are not cannot be trusted. We have to take responsibility for our own lives, for our own diet and lifestyle, including everything that we are bringing into our body through our body holes. I'll talk about that. So Chris says your genetics may load the gun, but diet and lifestyle pull the trigger. This just means that you may have a predisposition for a disease because of your genetics. But things like epigenetics and diet and lifestyle, that's very important. So our lifestyle is our actions in life, and that's what I call our religion. Jordan Peterson calls it religion, is how do you act? So Jordan Peterson acts as if God exists, and that's your religion. So our actions are important, our lifestyle. Our diet, what we put in our body holes. So they are talking about mostly about what we put through our mouth, our nutrition. They talk about toxins, and they talk about nutrients, and they talk about imbalance, and they talk about fasting and intermittent fasting. But all of these ideas about what you put through your mouth can also be abstracted into thinking about what you put in through your ears and your eyes. So that's what I encourage you to think about, is think about all of your body holes, all of your orifices. And your genetics, see, this is the program we inherit. So at a biological level, your genetics are these, the information that has been collected and we have inherited within our body at the cellular level, or at the most fundamental level. And so there is a program we have inherited in our, because of our upbringing and our families, or in our country with its rules and its legacy of all of the rules and behaviors of the people who have come before us. So we have inherited all kinds of things. But it's our diet and our lifestyle which is most important. All right. I feel like we could talk about that a long time, especially with experts in history and psychology. So Patrick, he says, a lot of people have a cooperative where you pay $40 per month and get a box of mystery produce each week from local farmers. I want to do this, and I recommend it, but then I also would think about abstracting this into an idea. So like a YouTube channel what the goal of a YouTube channel is to, be able to provide, mystery produce. We're providing, at a channel, we're providing information that is coming into your body holes. And so there might be a parallel, and I would say there's a parallel to like local farmers. Local farmers would be people who are producing the nutrients for your mind such that you can get healthier and overcome your dis-ease, your mental health issues. So something like this could be useful. Chris says, the truth is maybe you have been contributing to your disease. And I've kind of been thinking this a long time. People want to rely on they want to go cast their vote, cast their ballot, and they want the person they voted for to fix them. So they want the doctor to be the one who will cure them. But that's not the way. The way is to actually, take up personal responsibility for your life, and at every level. So don't just, don't just depend on the doctor. Don't just depend on the politician. You have to actually put forth effort and take personal responsibility for things. Chris, he says, we're dealing with a population of people that are overfed but are chronically malnourished because they are eating a diet that is really high in empty calories. So again, like whenever I have children and we allow them to use iPads and consume content. So consume content. And the key is that we are being very careful about the content they consume. We don't want them consuming quote unquote junk food. So yeah, a lot of things that we consume through our body holes, it is not healthy, and it is actually toxic. And we need to be very careful about what we are consuming. Your attention is the most valuable thing in the world, in my opinion. So be very careful. Patrick, help correct the damage to prevent cancer. So what is cancer? Cancer, I would try to call it abstractly a parasitic relationship, right? That's what the people on Fox and CNN and people who are, doing sports and, basically I'm reminded of the idea that people are making money off of your endocrine system and your desire for immediate gratification, and the question is, are they providing you with sustenance or nutrients, or are they in a parasitic relationship where they're adding nothing of value and they might actually be providing toxins to you? But we need to help correct the damage, and that is error correction algorithms. So that's where you need to have self-control at an individual level in order to build out your own habits and routines such that you can identify problems and solutions in your life, and then network with other people in order to solve bigger problems together, and allow other people to help you correct errors that you are making. That's the path forward kind of idea. And we, get in touch with me through Discord. I will put a link in the description below the video. Patrick, we need to be more involved, self-reliant, and personally responsible. It's good stuff. That's exactly right. Patrick, my whole message is one of empowerment. Hello, Clover. Hey, sweetie.
Which one looking for you?
You're looking for me?
Uh-huh.
I need a few more minutes, okay? I'll be out there in a few more minutes. So, my whole message is one of empowerment. That's what Patrick is saying. They don't want to, get you down. They want to let you know that you have an amazing potential and power. He actually says something like, it's amazing how much you can do in your life and it costs nothing. You have everything to lose, and you have everything to gain and nothing to lose by taking control of your life and your diet and your lifestyle, and it doesn't cost anything. So I think that's an important message. It's like it just takes self-control. So Patrick, most Americans have the wrong mindset, and so this is related to what we consume through our eyes and our ears. This is related to what he called fantasy thinking, or fantasy, which is not thinking, where you simply trust the authority, you trust the doctor to cure you without you needing to do any personal responsibility. You don't need, so ideally you would seek explanations, and you would understand the explanations, and you would find out what you can do to improve your situation. But instead, there are a lot of people who are consuming, they consume information and they trust the authority, and they aren't seeking an explanation that they truly understand. So we have the wrong mindset, and that needs to change if we want to be healthy. So Patrick says excess deficiency or imbalance can lead to an assortment of diseases. And I had an imbalance with magnesium, and I can definitely improve my diet and my lifestyle. But I would also bring this into the world of the internet with all of these communities, in that we need to seek out people who have disagreements. So if you are an expert, find other people who claim to be experts who disagree with you, and then have those conversations. And then we need to facilitate those conversations. So I would love to help create that space where people who have disagreements can have that conversation, so that you can understand the arguments and the criticisms that each expert is going to leverage against the other. In my experience, there are a lot of people who simply trust the authorities. So they'll say they will uphold the process by which we do science, but without actually thinking, without being skeptical of that process. And thinking about ways that process can be improved. So I imagine that when you have these disagreements, you will tend to have people who have tried to gain the understanding and form an explanation that makes sense, and they will be basically in disagreement with people who have trusted the authority, trusted the process which is in existence to provide that explanation. So I am on the side of trying to seek out the explanation yourself, trying to understand the explanation. And I am against the idea of simply trusting the authorities. There might be a process by which many people that are good at understanding explanations and developing their understanding of explanations and communicating the understanding of explanations, they may encourage you to have an understanding, but I ultimately think that each individual needs to have that understanding, especially in this age that we are entering into. I can understand how in the past it would be harder, but we are entering into an age where we should be able to obtain the explanation if we have the time to do so, and if we are connected with the resources, the necessary resources to do so. So the argument from authority is a fallacy. So, and lastly, I mentioned it earlier, Patrick says we palliate symptoms and ignore the underlying cause of the disease. And that's really what happens. It's like a health insurance, for example, is one example of us ignoring the underlying cause. And the underlying cause of almost all of our problems is people's unwillingness to take on personal responsibility. And maybe it was an inability due to the environment we were in as a species, but my hope is that and what I'm seeing is that we are entering into a new era where we are more able to take on personal responsibility as individuals and as communities, as we find each other and help that signal rise above the noise, such that we can each develop explanations that make sense and do it as a team. All right. This is all about creating opportunities to learn, and I will link my Discord channel in the description below. Please, help correct any errors I make. Thank you for your time.